I gotta tell you, I don't get it. As soon as a major world event happens, just as the moment that Christians could stand in some semblance of unity, we begin beating each other over the heads more visibly than whenever not a major event happens. When Osama bin Laden was killed by U.S. troops, there were so many different reactions by Christians, some jubilation, some with indignant attitudes of self-righteous salvation, and is he saved, and where is his soul? And so the conversation quickly turned from Osama to one another and trying to decide who was right and who was wrong and how am I supposed to think and what's incorrect. We miss the fact that we think how we think. We believe how we believe. Folks who are not willing to give their own attitudes, their own feelings, find themselves stuck with trying to figure out how other Christians tell them to think. Other Christians tell them how they're supposed to believe, with scriptures flying right and left to try to define our attitudes, except that we don't get that how we feel is how we feel. And we're not damned because we feel one way or vindicated because we feel another way. We are who we are. Our attitudes are what they are. For me personally, when I heard that bin Laden was killed, I was shocked, I was excited, and I said, wow, thank God, after all these years, we finally got the guy. I didn't go out in the streets and shout or quickly post something on the internet, not that I couldn't have or wouldn't have, it just didn't cross my mind. I was just happy that he was gone. Is he in heaven? I have no clue. And you know what? I don't care. It is obvious that he didn't care. It is obvious that he didn't care about the Christian God. It is obvious that he was out to destroy everyone who believed in the Christian God. Where he ended up isn't my problem. And let me say this quickly. For many believers who thought that it was wrong to kill him or we shouldn't rejoice over it, you know, if somebody breaks into my house and they're carrying a gun and they want to rob, maim, and kill, I will rejoice if I kill him first. I will be excited if I get him before he gets me. And if that's religiously correct, I don't even care. Is that scriptural or unscriptural? I don't know. You know, some of you think I have 2 cheeks to turn. Others think I have 4 cheeks to turn, depending on your perspective. But at the end of the day, I'm going to run out of cheeks. And if he is still bent on killing me, he's going to kill me. So I'm going to get him before he gets me. Now, let me add this. It was very interesting that they say that he was buried at sea. It was very interesting to see that they were given the kill order as soon as they went in. But what is very interesting is that 2 eyewitnesses say that once the gun was pointed to Osama, it was 6 to 8 minutes before they fired the gun, the shot that killed him. And you know, I'm just wondering what happened. I'm wondering, why did it take 6 to 8 minutes? And I theorize that they did not have the kill order. I theorize that they said they weren't sure they were going to get him. They weren't sure whether they'd take him alive or kill him. And so whenever it came down to the point where that American SEAL had the man in his sights, he radioed back and said, he's in my sights, he's right across the room from me. Do I kill him or do I let him go? And then all of a sudden, back in the situation room, they had a situation. And real quickly they said, do we shoot him and dump his body in the ocean? Do we let him live and struggle with whether we put him in a military tribunal, or whether he ends up with a world court in Europe, or whether he ends up in a domestic court of law in the United States? And they're scratching their heads and thinking, you know what, this guy may never come to justice, while the world figures out where he's going to be tried. And you know, George Bush said, we'll either bring him to justice or we will bring justice to him. And I think in the last minute, it was President Obama who said, you know what, let's bring justice to him. Let's take care of him right now. And so they shot him. And they took him out to the boat, took a couple pictures of him with his body wrapped in a sheet, somebody holding open the Quran, and then they just dumped him in the ocean. Was that a burial? I don't think it was. Was it an Islamic funeral? I don't think it was. They just dumped him in the ocean. Isn't it interesting to think that there was an Islamic cleric on board with the prayer book, the Islamic prayer book for a funeral, just happened to be there, so that whenever they brought Osama's body on board, they could give him a proper funeral. I don't think so. I think they're catering to leftist Americans. I think they're catering to those who, on the far left, who think everything we do in the United States is wrong. I'm glad he's dead. I wish they would have given us the picture. I think it's right for them to give us the picture. I think that it is absolutely political correctness gone amok that they have not released the photograph of this tyrant. We certainly saw enough photographs of our own citizens jumping from the World Trade Center. We saw plenty of photographs of what happened in Pennsylvania and what happened in the Pentagon. We saw all that carnage, all those bodies, all those bodies of our friends and relatives and fellow citizens dead. So why can't we see the picture of Osama bin Laden dead? It is absurd. You can't make these people more angry than they already are. Show us the picture. Their first responsibility is to us. Mr. President, your responsibility is to show us the picture of dead Osama bin Laden. Thank you.